But no, TaToH with Huns and Arma with Mayans, so that's interesting. I'm glad to see that we don't have another war between Meso civilizations, because they can be a bit one-dimensional after a while, whereas Huns versus a Mesociv is I just realised what the players are getting so confused about. TaToH is laughing because even though he picked Hunt, he still started off with an Eagle Warrior. He must have thought he picked the wrong Civ for a moment. He got an Eagle Warrior Scout as Hunt. That's quite funny. It's like the game was just um, so much anticipating that the players would both go Miso Civ. It was I'll give them a Miso Scout anyway. But that's because of the mega random start. Anyway, that small moment of comedy aside, it's going to be much more interesting, I think, than the first game because, ostensibly, in my opinion, Arma with the better Civ, and he's the underdog in this series. So it's nice for him to have that small advantage. And generally, like on an open map, Huns can use cavalry archer raiding or something like that to, and the fact that they have knights to take an advantage in the castle age. But if the Meso civilization, especially mines, they kind of can wall up and go in with an earlier Imperial age and defeat the Huns that way. But this isn't quite such much of an open map. It's going to be quite easy for Arma to wall up and kind of abuse the Mayan Imperial age against and neuter the Huns Castle age. So I think this is a chance for the best chance that Arma has had so far to pick up a game against TaToH. I'm just looking at the map as well because the previous generation of this map we saw the two players making use of the fact that there was an additional connection around the bottom part of the map which they were running around. But on this map there's just a single connection on the middle, so some stone walls for Arma and then just guarding against landings via transports on the sides of the map would be quite effective for him and allow him to abuse the asymmetry created by the different civilizations. So I think that would be his best strategy, would be to just wall up the middle and go for that Mayan early Imperial Age push, which the Huns will have a hard time dealing with. TaToH milling deer at the top here. We saw this in the previous game. He made a second mill that wasn't on his berries in the previous game on this map, just to wow, so close for Arma picking off a villager there, blocking the ball, or and then getting a hit in with his scout on unlimited villagers. But TaToH's here with his scout now to prevent that. Just 3 hit points though. Could have been a nice start for Arma. Yeah, it looks like. Oh wow! I mean, he's got a deep fish, so it's not a terrible dock. But really, building your dock up against the edge of the map like that, I'm trying to see what his scouting was like to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he could have scouted a bit more and potentially done a better dock than that. I mean, he does actually have 2 more deep fish down here, and that's not a terribly far distance to go. I mean, there will be some clogging up of fishing ships going backwards and forth, perhaps, but even so, it's quite hard to see how he could have done a better dock. I mean, this dock is just shorefish. He could have gone over here, I suppose, but he's not really aware of that. So, yeah, I guess it's not too bad. Arma milling his deer as well, a little bit later than TaToH. Interestingly, TaToH hasn't gone for a dock this time. He was the first to get up a dock when this map was played in game 2, and he does have a nice pond here with 2 deep fish, so you could definitely be worth getting a couple of fishing ships out on that lake. But I guess with 8 deer or however many you started with, it's not quite as imperative. In fact, it's more like maybe the other deer patch was 7 and this is 7, so it could be 14 deer in total. Arma's actually walling out his second deer patch though. I'm not sure about these walls. I guess where is his scout at this point in time there? I wonder if he'd scouted this coming forward and that's why he was walling back so much, but I do have to question why he didn't just send a village or two out earlier and just wall the middle. It would have saved himself a lot of villager time and resources, and meant that he didn't have to defend such a huge line of wall, because TaToH's got so many avenues of attack here, and he can also tower the wood lines and things. But it seems like TaToH's strategy is going to be a very aggressive one. He's gone up to the feudal age much more quickly, whereas it seems that Arma was very much intending to try and pull off some kind of fast castle build with the amount of time that he remained in the Dark Age and the population that he went up on. Arma doesn't actually see this tower going up, so that's going to be a surprise for him, pushing away from that wood line and forcing him to rebuild a null lumber camp. If you're going for a fast castle build, then having to build a new lumber camp when you get to the feudal age is a terrible situation to be in, because it just kind of means you can't put those buildings in your fast castle build order is just destroyed. You're not going to be able to get anywhere near the same uptime, and TaToH would be cheeky now, just milling these deers. Deer. Oh, I need to stop saying that. But as I was saying though, when TaToH came forward and Arma did these walls, TaToH's just got so many places where he can try and break in. Like, he can just move to the next one. He's going to force Arma to just keep re-walling all over the place. But it seems TaToH's not even going to bother. He's just going to apply some pressure for the walls as a distraction and then just go for the transport with the scouts, which is going to be absolutely deadly. There's no barracks coming up for Arma at the moment. He's still going to try and stick with the blacksmith and probably market approach, considering that he's building a blacksmith before even throwing down a barracks. At least his fishing ships have seen the dock though, so let's see what kind of reaction there is. At this point he's not actually, well, of course he's aware that there's a stable there because he can see the scouts coming in, but he may not realise quite how forward the stable is. This outpost here is kind of duplicating the function of the tower almost. But yet, even though he's aware of the dock, it's just going for market blacksmith, so he will need a barrack sooner or later, because these scouts are about to come in, and I think that whenever he puts the barracks up, it's going to be later than it should have been, because he's been able to see this dock for quite a long time, and he knows TaToH's making scouts. I mean, if he gets the right fast walls, then scouts can't cripple his base, but it means that TaToH will have map control inside the walls of Arma and be able to continue just dropping in units and villages as much as he wants to. And if TaToH put another tower here somewhere, then that would be deadly. And look at the resources that this is forcing out of Arma. He's just had to put up 6 or 7 houses here, so that's 200 wood down the back. I mean, yeah, everybody needs houses, but you don't want to be making 7 more houses than you need well in advance of the time that you need them. These villagers are getting caught out anyway. The fast walls didn't entrap them, and indeed there's a 1 tile gap there, so that village is going to go down. And this is looking once again very precarious for Arma. TaToH has looked at the situation with the civilizations and decided that he's not going to play it on Arma's terms. He's just going to force the issue, stop Arma from abusing the Mayan advantage if he just closed off his map and boomed up. Looks like TaToH did try to get that tower that I suggested would be very dangerous to him, but already Arma had preempted that, and Arma's going forward with these 6 vills, which is just a very ballsy move, because these scouts can just go straight back. I'm not sure if that was open at the time, or whether he used the tower to destroy the wall, but even so, TaToH could have just put the scouts back in the transport and gone round and killed and transported the scouts back by the time Arma had put up a castle or whatever. That seemed like a very odd move to send out those 6 villagers unprotected, and TaToH's even going to wall them out with a stable, and this this is looking very much over already, it has to be said. This village is going down everywhere for Arma. More towers coming up, and he seems to be... I have no idea what to do in that situation. I resigned again. So TaToH winning another game very quickly, moving out into a 4-0 lead. And with this being a best of 9, that means there could be just one game remaining if TaToH wins the next. This one is going to be anniversary map pack, so we could see anything. There are so many maps in this map pack, and it's going to be tier 4 civilizations, which means either of Franks, Teutons, Mongols, or Goths. Have a look what the chat's saying. Yeah, unfortunately I can't update the title because I don't have editing privileges for the Voobly Stream dashboard. Perhaps someone did that for me if I refresh, but I'm not sure. Which map is it? The map is indeed Relic Ponds from the anniversary map pack. I'm just going to go and take the opportunity while the players are launching, because the 90-second spectator delay hasn't counted down yet. I'm just going to go and refill my drink. It's not easy to cast with a sore throat and no water. Looks like I was back just in time, because just 20 seconds counting down from a little while ago, and we're actually going straight into the game. Perfect timing. So this is the 5th map of the best of 9 series, and if TaToH wins it will be the final one. And we get barren land, so for the 2nd time in this series we get a map that has already been played. This time though, civilization's different. The first time we saw TaToH with Turks and Arma with Koreans. This time we get TaToH with Mongols and Arma with Goths. And the map is quite different in that the players are so close to each other. I'd say that TaToH has got the much better civilization. There are at least 6 deer for each player that I can see, which if you 8 deer. So if TaToH manages to push a few in, he's going to be able to get a very strong scout rush potentially with the Mongols. And a Mongol with 8 deer is something you want to be very, very afraid of, especially on such an open map like this. So I'd say that Arma's going to be having a tough time, even if he wasn't already having a tough time from being up against a top player. Just looking at the maps, I mean, TaToH's gold is pretty terrible. Like, most of it is almost closer to Arma, but if TaToH is going very aggressive, that may not come into play as much. Arma's maps, gold is at least towards the back as well as one of his stones. But as I was saying in the first time we saw this map, the fact that it's so open from 360 degrees almost makes whether gold is forward or back not anywhere near as important on it as it is on another map when you get forests that maybe restrict the access. The maps are open 360 degrees, and even if you've got back gold, it's so easy for a player to just run around and hit it anyway. It really only protects it in the sense that it's more travel time. You know, a back gold on this map is not protected by geographies so much as just pure distance. You can see that TaToH has already pushed in at least one of his deer